Hello everyone, I'm going to get experimental where I review animated movie that came out in theaters where it needs more attention. On occasion, I will release short review episodes that are 10 to 30 minutes long where I share my thoughts on these movies, and I'm adapting my own letterbox review of the movie Bouchra for this episode.
Aisha. Are you sure?
Salut maman.
Ça va?
Yes.
Ouais, et toi?
Krati, j'ai toujours cru que t'étais plus sociable que maman.
Moi, plus sociable que Cortège. Elle a l'art d'attirer les gens. Moi, j'ai l'art de repousser les gens.
Et je voulais juste comprendre pourquoi pendant 9 ans, t'as pas pu, c'est tout.
9 ans? Je me souvenais pas que c'était 9 ans.
Jewelry store in Casablanca.
Hold time while I try to still the world.
Bouchra is a 2025 indie animated movie made with Blender, and it is a US-Italy-Morocco co-production. It was released at Toronto International Film Festival last year, where it competed for the Platform Prize, and it was the first animated film to premiere in this section. From there on, it has built some buzz around it due to its premise involving coming out as a gay person along with having anthropomorphic animals characters. What is it exactly about? It's about the titular main character Bouchra, a queer Moroccan jackal from Casablanca living in New York City. And she's having a writer's block for her first film. She's working on a feature film about coming out as a lesbian to her Moroccan mother, which caused her to not get in contact for 9 years. To flesh out her idea, she called her mother after many years of silence, and they went through their feelings together. All while she's working on the screenplay, we see her flashback in Casablanca, Morocco, and her daily life in Brooklyn. I once pondered about what would be the animation equivalent to making movies with a camcorder, and this very much answered my thought experiment. In the previous episodes, like A Grand Mockery and Born in Flames, Ryan and I talked about this kind of DIY filmmaking, and also, as I can remember, when Matthew and I did an episode on El Mariachi and From Dusk Till Dawn together, where we talked about the parallel between the 1990s indie filmmaking and indie animation of today. And it very much fit with my comparison. This movie is fairly special because it managed to replicate that grungy mini DV camcorder texture that could only be done in live action, but the people behind this animated movie thought of a clever way of replicating it. And one thing I like about this movie, like I mentioned, it has this very special kind of texture that could be done only in live action and with an affordable camcorder camera. However, they did that well in the 3D animation medium. Like, the shots with camcorder footage flawlessly blended well with CG character, and I kept thinking like the rendering of buildings in New York City. I wonder if they went outside and shot those sequences with an actual camcorder, or they just recreated in Blender. It really captured that grit very well. And the scene with Bouchra going to the airport in Morocco reminded me of heading to Seoul from Incheon after a grueling plane journey. I just find that very nostalgic and feel very relatable. I also reminded of the works of Ralph Bakshi. Ralph Bakshi, as you may already know, he's a New York City-based indie animator who used this real-life video footage or film footage and photograph as a background, and he has animated characters, be it anthropomorphic animals or more caricaturish human characters going about their ways and capturing this raw grit of living in the city. I was very much reminded of his work. However, if I have to compare Bouchra with Ralph Bakshi's movie, this one is a lot more restrained and understated. Like, there's no cartoon violence, just, it's kind of a movie that you would expect from Dogman 95 Productions, or anything involving, or any like a low budget indie movies, like mumblecore movies. And I think people have compared this movie with the filmography of Richard Linklater. And I definitely could see that. This reminds me, I really wonder what people, I really wanted to screen this movie to animation fans, especially the animation fans who prefer 2D more than 3D because they don't like the whole low quality 3D movies, or at least they find it sometimes annoyed by 3D movies or 3D animated movies with low quality graphics. I mean, yes, it does have low quality graphics, as you would say expect from like a direct-to-video mockbusters. However, I find that to be a lot more charming. I mean, Bouchra weirdly feels more intimate with this kind of aesthetic. And I don't know why. I tried to pinpoint what exactly made that low quality graphic work. And I tried to think back some CGI, low budget CGI animated movies that animation YouTubers tends to mock. I think Bouchra works in a way that it tells more personal story. Instead of telling a more formulaic story, it tells more personal story in I would say in a more non-linear way. There's this kind of special uniqueness to it. I think that's what made me help feel intimate with the character Bouchra and her, and I feel rather compelled by her experience. I don't know, like again, I know some of these people, people I've talked to, the animation fans that I talked to who doesn't particularly like 3D animation, I want to screen it to them, and some of these animation fans tend to be, openly queer, and I want to know what their thought about it. Would they feel very turned off by the a very, how should I put it, lo-fi CGI characters, or would their experience be the same as me? Who knows? I mean, there was someone that I know, and when I watched Lesbian Space Princess, and I immediately thought of this one particular person, and because this is very much up in her alley, and I really want to know her thoughts, and a few months later, she finally watched it, and she liked it. And this is a movie I wanted to screen it for her. Honestly, this movie itself shows a lot more full potentials of 3D animation in indie animation filmmaking. Like, it has something that couldn't be done in 2D. Especially a lot of camera movements where it's so nifty and very, very outside of the box. Like, there's one scene where Bouchra and I think one of her exes talking about the audition tape, and they give each other like a contradictory statement or very contradicting point of view, and the camera is just creating this overhead arcs, like going from one side to another side over their heads, And I thought that was really, really cool. So yes, overall, I loved it. I really, really loved it. And I watched it, since I watched it a few days ago, and I'm not sure if it's going to play at Metrograph even more longer, but I really wish this movie gets more wider release. And if it came out on video on demand, please go watch it. Especially if even if you're not a fan of 3D animation, I really feel like once you've seen it, I really want to know what the people who doesn't like 3D animation all, because it doesn't have that some kind of specific kind of charm that 2D movies have, but this one would probably give them some different perspective. So yes, so that's my hastily done review, and see you next time.